Evening, everybody. My name is Danny Wells, and I am your host tonight. I'm very, very excited about tonight because we have four incredible trainings tonight. So I'm going to literally just start. I'm going to start right at the beginning. Here we go. So, the trainers tonight, we have got Lisa Woodcock, who is going to go last and share her story. We've got the lovely Tracy Cropper, who is actually here. And the reason why she's here is because she's been helping her daughter, who's just had a baby. So, Tracy's been promoted to nanny. Baby Haley made it into this world a couple of weeks ago. And Tracy's been living with her for the last couple of weeks, and she doesn't live local. She lives a few hours away. And Tracy agreed to train on how to do the Discover Arbonne and realised that she left her laptop charger at her new granddaughter's house, and so she doesn't have access to a laptop with her laptop-based business. So she's here using my laptop, and that's absolutely fine. Yeah, she's got a phone, so the business goes on. And we have got Emma Lee, who's going to do how to read your labels, and then we are going to start with Becky Ravenhill, who's going to do our skill training. So Becky, we've got Becky on the line. There we go. So I'm going to hand straight over to you, Becky.
Hello, hi everyone. Oh God, I can see my face. Oh blimey. Right, let's cover that up. All right, so I am going to be talking to you tonight about finding your ideal client. So we're going to get really, really, really crystal clear on who it is you actually want following on you on your socials, who you want buying from you, and who you want to join your team. So who has an avatar for their team member or their client? Pop it in the chat if you have. So, in a world overflowing with options and noise, it's really, really easy to kind of cast that net out, hoping that someone, or in some case, we think anybody, will resonate with what we have to offer. But here's the truth: it doesn't come from success, doesn't come from trying to appeal to everybody. But it comes from targeting your ideal client with precision and purpose. And I remember Fiona having a story and saying to us, I wanted a person who made wine or sold wine in my business. So I went out and I found someone that and sponsored someone who made wine. And I wanted someone, a hairdresser. I wanted a hairdresser in my team. So I went out and I sponsored a hairdresser. And that's all because she had the intention to go out and find that particular person. So many people struggle to build their business because they're unsure of like what to say, what to do, how to reach out. And a lot of people who I've come into contact with have trouble creating content. So who here has trouble creating content on a regular basis? Do you sometimes think, oh, I don't know what to post, and oh, I'll just copy that person because that's quick and I'll just get it done quickly because then I can tick my box and that's done. But so be able to create your content, you need to really understand your ideal audience, and that can really change everything. And I know I've seen massive growth in my socials over the last month or couple of months since I've started doing this, because I've actually been more specific with who I'm targeting. So when you know who you want to attract to your account, whether it's either clients or team members, you can tailor your content specifically for them. And this clarity, it doesn't only guide your messaging, but actually empowers you to create the content that resonates deeply with your ideal audience. So if you imagine a person who embodies your perfect client, someone who not only benefits from the products and the service that we provide, but also aligns with your values and your vision, you have that connection with that person. They'll not only buy from you, but they will also become a loyal supporter, an advocate for the brand. And more often than not, because they love it so much and they get on with you, they'll actually then become consultants. Moreover, knowing your audience transforms how you stand out on social media, especially with Arbonne. Like, what makes you different from the person that's sat next to you digitally on the Zoom screen right now? What makes you different from that person? It can impact the way you approach your sales. If you don't understand the language, like the challenges that these people have, the desires of your ideal clients and your team members, then you risk missing out on these like connections that you have with people and the opportunities. Like, some people enjoy and love cold DMing, that is absolutely fine. Or they like actively searching for new connections, like searching hashtags and going into Facebook groups that specifically are for people that they're trying to target. And that's absolutely fine. And this information will be valuable to you too. But by honing in on your ideal audience, you'll not only attract those people, but then you can lead to genuine relationships and growth. So all grab your pens. I've got a few steps for you. Um, This is a good exercise to do, not just with your client, but also to do with your team member. So I'm going to talk about clients today, but go away, take some time and think about the questions and think, actually, what do I want from my ideal team member? So the first one is to analyze your current clients. So looking at your existing clients, and can you identify any common traits, any products that they've bought and why they've bought those products? Like what hobbies do they have? Do they have a specific occupation? A lot of people target people who and attract people that are the same occupation that they are because you can relate to them. So who are your most loyal and satisfied clients? What do they have in common? There's your first step, is analyze your current clients. Step two is what is your ideal client's ultimate goals? So weight, energy, skin, but it's not just thinking about those particular things. You've got to peel the layer back off the onion. So, do they want to lose weight? Do they want to gain weight? Do they want better gut health? Do they want easier, healthier habits? Do they want to wear a bikini on the beach? Do they want to have better skin? Do they want to have glowing skin? Do they want less acne? Like more, do they want more energy without having to rely on coffee? Do they want to be able to play with the children? It's all those kind of peeling the layers back and really, really think about what their ultimate goal is. So if we were thinking about a team member, you could easily go, they want more money. But then you've got to expand on that because you can't create content. You could go, oh, join my team for more money. And after that, it's probably like there's nothing else you could write. So why do they want money? What does the money mean to them? Do they need to pay for the school for the children? Do they want to go on holiday with the kids and not feel sick about the thought of having to pay it off with like a loan or a credit card, or just what do they, you kind of got to go back. And sometimes it is difficult because you've got to think how they're feeling and how they're thinking. But just take some time to do that and get really clear on who you want following you, who you want buying from you, and who you want to join your team. And it's very, very easy to say, oh, everyone. But when you target no one, you miss everybody because not everyone will relate to you, but that's all right. So just a side note, your social media account doesn't need to be just about your particular topic. So it can be about other unrelated things, like such as mine. I concentrate on gut health, but then I also look at the community side and the friendship within our team. So I also portray the fact that I don't work alone. We work together. Um, we work for ourselves, but not by ourselves. We talk about you could be talking about energy, but then also be talking about motherhood, having energy in motherhood. You could talk about reducing stress for the over 40s, but you could also be talking about travel. And this is create all about creating a brand and that like know, like, and trust. So the next step I have changed many times over the last few months. Like this is something that you'll need to come back to again on and add to on a regular basis. But it's all about understanding your people, where they're at and where they want to go. And then you can be that solution that ties those two things together. So step three is where are they now? What are they where are they currently in their life? You really need to think about how they're feeling, how they're talking, and what they're thinking about. So they may be saying things like, I feel tired, I feel ugly, I have no confidence because of my acne, I hate my body. Will I ever be happy with my body? I need enough energy just to get through the day with the kids. They could be lacking motivation. Are they uncomfortable? Are they frustrated? Do they think they want a long-term solution rather than a short-term fix? Like doing this really, again, it just helps you understand the person that you're trying to attract into your business, but on a much deeper level. Step four is where they want to finish. So normally that's the opposite of where they are now. So where do they want to end up in their life? Do they want great gut health? They want unlimited confidence. They want to be motivated. They love their body. They're so comfortable in their skin. You can wear what you want. So you need to paint their goal as achievable, but with your help. And they need to feel that you're the only person that can help them. So now this kind of allows you to kind of sit back and be like, right, so what do I want to do? What do I want to talk about on my socials? What do I want to help people with? What do you want your account to be about? But you get to decide that because this is your business. And the last step is what can you offer them to get from their struggles to their goals? So they need support, they need coaching, they need guidance, they could need accountability, they need a plan, they need advice. There's a lot of noise out there, some really random advice out there, so that you need to, again, build that trust with them that you're the person that they need to go to. They need a cheerleader, they need the tools, and of course, they need the products. And this is what you can provide them with. So, just an example, this is my ideal client. So, this is who I target on my social media. So it's a woman in her 30s or 40s, been struggling with gut health issues like bloating, irregular digestion, and fatigue. She's tried various diets and supplements with little success, and she's now ready for a holistic long-term solution that truly works. She's driven and ready to make sustainable lifestyle changes, but needs guidance on where to start. So that's the person who I'm trying to attract on my social media. They're not looking for a quick fix. She's invested in long-term wellness. Their main struggles, so thought about their struggles, bloating, gas, irregular digestion, fatigue. Despite trying various supplements and quick fixes, nothing's worked for them. So they might have tried other things, but they need something that's really going to help. So in essence, they're not just seeking like a symptom relief, they're seeking transformation. So I want to portray that where I was to where I was now. I need to use the feel, felt, found that we all that we know that we need to use when speaking to people. So we can use this information then to tailor the content. Your ideal client, you can use their language, you can use their feelings, and they can really relate to them. You really want to create content that kind of screams, oh my God, this was written for me. I need to contact this person straight away, and they'll go straight into your DMs. But you're not going to do that by posting a corporate graphic that Arbonne has made for you on your feed. Stories is where we need to use that stuff. It's there for 24 hours, it then goes. Everything that's on your grid, so your feed on Instagram, that's there for until you take it down, they're the value posts that we need to be writing. So I have a client, she's not a network marketer, but she is a client of mine. And I did this exercise with her about 6 weeks ago. And she messaged me, bless her, last week and just said, I can't believe this. This is crazy. Like, this is the person that I was trying to attract. And she sent me a message of this woman, random stranger, not a client of hers before, that's seen her Instagram and said, this is my problem. I need you to help me. And then listed what she wanted. And she said, this is the person that I wanted to attract. And I said, it worked. It does work, but it takes consistency. And consistency isn't necessarily posting every single day. If you can only post 3 times a week, that's great. Post 3 times a week, but consistently post on those 3 days every single week. It doesn't have to be every single day, but don't rush it. So I use these notes every single day to create content. I spend time answering questions for both clients and team members that I've thought of in my head, the ideal client and team member that I want to attract. Add to it as you go. And there are still days where I sit and I'm like, oh, I don't know what to do. I don't know what I'm going to post today. I haven't got a clue. But I just go back to my notes. I think about my ideal client. I create a reel or a post talking to their struggles and how I can help them get to their goals. But just remember, add value so your audience can begin the know, like, and trust, because people only buy from people that they know, like, and trust. So I think that's me done. If anyone wants to ask any questions, feel free. If I don't know the answer, I will have to come back to you. I'm not very good at speaking on the spot, I have to say.
Oh, Becky, that was absolutely fantastic. What we'll do is, if people do have questions, just put it in the chat, and then you can try and answer it in the chat, because we've got 3 more trainers. But Becky, that was fantastic. I wrote loads of notes on that, so I'm very excited to do that homework, and I'll share in the Go Getters once I've done my ideal client. So that was really useful. Fantastic. Okay, we're going to go on to our next trainer now, who is the lovely Tracy. So I'm just going to share my screen again. Oh, here we go. Right, so now we're going to go to Tracy, who is going to talk about the Discover Arbonne.
The cat needs fussing.
I know.
The cat is
I'm going to give the cat some fuss.
Yeah, wants to join in. So when Danny asks me to do anything, I know there's only one answer, which is yes. And I've got to say, when she asked me to do this, I must have read it 5 times and was like, why is Danny asking me to talk about Discover Arbon? And then I realised why she's asking me, because I don't do it very often. So she's pushing me out of my comfort zone and trying to get me comfy with doing it. So yeah, we said, so we're going to go right back to basics. I think if a lot of us are honest, how often do we actually present a Discover Arbon? So like I say, I've got to be totally honest. I may have fumbled my way through it once in 1.5 years. And a lot of us are probably the same. You know, do we actually get the slides out? Do we actually talk about it in a professional manner? And first of all, the first thing for me then was, well, this is why I haven't got business builders, because I'm not talking to them properly about the business. So yeah, light bulb moment, something I need to concentrate on. Those. Thank you, Danny.
Welcome.
So we thought we'd go right back to basics in where do we actually find the Discover Arbon, and how do we like download it onto whatever device, whether it be your laptop, your phone, your iPad, whatever you might be taking out with you. So what you have to do is you log into your personal website to start with, and then you just go onto the source. Now, when you get onto the source,
You guys can see this, can't you? Just give us a little thumbs up if you can see it. Yeah, they can, yeah.
Yeah, so when you go onto the source, you then just type in Discover Arbon. And then it does come up. There's lots of different presentations on there. So there is some smaller presentations as well, but the one we're working on tonight, and the full presentation you want to be looking at, is the one that is it's UK Arbon, and it's 2024. So then you click on that, and then it all shows for you. So there's 14 slides in total, and then you just press the download button. The cat really is not happy about this. Yeah, so then you just press the download button, then that will download all 14 slides to whatever device you're downloading on. But for tonight, what we're going to do is just talk about the top 3, because obviously I've sort of got like 10 minutes and not like 45 minutes. So I'm just going to go through the top 3 really and just give some pointers. Like I say, I am no expert, and it is something I need to look at. But for those of you that were at training yesterday at leadership, they actually went through these, and let me tell you, I was like, thank the Lord, because I hadn't got around to looking at them. So I was definitely voice recording. But yeah, so the first slide, which is like your opening slide, it's your time to tell whoever you're sat with, your friend, your prospect, about you, your story, and your why. So it's the time that you want to be building the excitement for what's coming. So building the excitement for why this business and these products are going to be amazing. So you just want to keep it short, because people's attention can go. So they say about keeping your sort of story to 60 seconds. And I was like, oh, I've done my 60-second story. We're all good. Then I looked at it and I was like, no, that's the one that I did for networking, which is totally different to what I need for this. So need to work on that. But you sort of want to share stuff that are going to make people sit up and listen and connect with you. So I know Hetty said yesterday, if they can relate to you, they are more likely to be open and then sort of like listen to everything you're going to say. So sort of like use some things like, oh, when I first heard this presentation, and then like ... for whatever resonates with you for when you first heard the presentation. So, you could be like, I was blown away by the earning potentials and that really made me listen. Or, I had no idea what network marketing was. So when it was actually explained to me properly, I actually felt really excited by the potential of where I could go with this. So sort of do that so it makes people feel comfortable. So if they're feeling like that, they'll be like, oh, I feel like that too. Or, they know that you felt something that may have been not necessarily negative, but may have been apprehensive when you first heard about it. And it sort of just helps them keep open. So sharing your why is always going to help people connect with you. So when they know why you started this business and what you saw in this business, they're either going to be like, that's what I'm looking for, or they're going to be like, oh, this is a human person that started it for whatever reasons. So sort of like think about that. And I was thinking, what would, potentially, this is like off the spot, you know, what would the sort of thing I would say. So I'd be like, you know, I was really looking for a way that I could take care of my dad and be around to homeschool my son while still having an income. And I also wanted a career for me, and I didn't want to be having to ask somebody, a boss, if I could take time to be at appointments and be where I wanted to be. And so I put what have I put here? I know it's like more, and I know in the future that this is going to be more than replacing my full-time wage. So also in that story, you want to be sharing your vision of where you're going with it. So it doesn't have to be where you're at, it's what be where you want to go, what you see or what you've seen when you first heard about Arbonne. So yeah, it's your chance basically to paint your picture of how they can also get excited about what's coming in these slides. So that's sort of like what the first slide is all about. It's about painting that picture, starting to build that excitement, getting that engagement as well. And then the next slide that you go on to, which is the, you've got it there just to show them which one.
Sorry.
It's the one that's about, says about Arbonne. So it's like the Arbonne, our story. Now, this is where what we really want to be doing is we want to be helping people connect to the brand. So the brand being the products and being the network marketing business. So it's about both sides of the brand. And this is where we're getting them to connect. So, you know, sort of telling them about, I can't even make note of my own notes there. Yes, yeah. Thank you, Danny. Danny can read my notes better than me.
I can read your notes.
So yeah, telling them about Petta's story and what his dream was when he first started this. You know, so going back, like Danny does this wonderfully in a lot of her DAs. You know, she takes everyone right back to the beginning. So where Petta, you know, when he was a young boy and he used to work actually for a different product business, and through seeing some of the chemicals and things that were put in that product is one of the things that made him decide he was going to go alone and start a clean business. So he wanted something that didn't have these nasties in and didn't have these chemicals in. But he also wanted to make sure that they'd got results as well. And alongside that, because of how he'd been brought up by a single mum and seen her struggles having to work lots of different jobs just to get food on the table, he wanted to give something that women could go out and flourish with and be able to be with their own families, which is why we've got both sides of the business. And I think sharing that so they can see actually the person behind all of this is not just someone that wanted to make some money. You know, our business has been around for 44 years. You know, Petta decided we were going to be a clean business before clean was even a thing. You know, he was such a visionary, and we need to be painting that so people can get that passion and feel that behind it as well. I know me just talking about it now, I'm feeling like really passionate. I'm like, oh my God, Petta was there. He was like, so that's what we want. So people are feeling engaged with us. Totally weren't reading my notes here. So yeah, just make sure you get in like how long we've been around. So we are, you know, we're not just a flash in the pan sort of thing. This business has been around for a long, long time. So that's what you're building on that second slide. And then on the third slide, which I think all the slides actually are really, they're all clean slides. They're all very, there's no complications on them. They do sort of let you know where you're going. And what I forgot to mention actually at the start was in the source, there is also a script to this full 14.
Is it at the bottom here?
Oh, is it?
I don't know.
No, I don't think it is.
Is it not?
No, it's on a separate, if you just put in Discover Arbonne script. Now, it's really great to print that off to get some of the wording behind it. But I know from reading through it, you'd sort of probably just want to use some of it and then put your own wording with it. But it's a good starting point. So go and look at that as well. But on this one, you know, it's like, you look, this is what we stand for. So we're clean, we're conscious, and we're connected. So you want to be saying to people, you know, again, reiterate, we were clean before clean was a thing. You know, and make sure you tell them, you know, we've got over 2,000 banned products, which ingredients, not products. We don't ban products.
I didn't pick up on that.
No, we make products, but we make sure they're with clean ingredients. So yeah, but make sure people are aware of that. You know, not a lot of other brands have that many banned ingredients, but we do. And this is where as well you would get in, telling people that we're vegan, we're gluten free, we're halal, we've got no no nasties in there. And again, all of this was from the start. This wasn't something that we've decided to do just recently, because these are all buzzwords and what people are looking for. Our products have always been these things. So share all of those certifications again, so they can get a real feel for the love and the care that's within the products and why we are so clean. So conscientious, we're always considering people and the planet. With every decision Arbonne make, they always make sure that they're considering everything. And this is where we talk about B Corps. And, again, be honest with people. If, like me, you had no idea what B Corps was until Arbonne become B Corps, and I was like, oh, probably need to know what this is. And then when you start to learn what it is, and it's like, wow, we are B Corps. Do people know what this is? And actually, it's okay if you don't. If you don't, go and look at it, because it is amazing. It just shows what sort of company we are. Make sure you get in there that only 4% of companies become B Corps that actually apply for this. And this is all the big companies that'll apply. And the reason people don't know about it is because these big companies aren't ethical enough to get this certification. And then as well, point out we are number one in our industry for B Corps. So it's just share the absolute passion for it. Don't make people feel silly because they don't know what B Corps is. Don't give them all the information because you're going to keep them there forever, but give them enough to want to go away and look at it and research it themselves. And then obviously connected, here we all are. So we all know that we are, as a community, we just deliver much more than just products. We have that community together. We all stay connected. And Becky, you pinched the line I was using, which is we're in business for ourselves, but not by ourselves. And that is where that connection comes in. So they are just the first 3 slides, obviously, that I've gone through. But what I do want to do, I didn't ask Danny about this before, but I did just quickly ask, is set some homework. So set some homework for everyone that's on here tonight and everyone that's watching. What I want us all to do is just get our 60-second story, first slide story, how we're opening together over the next week. And then if it's okay, if we all just share it on this Zoom next week. So we're all starting to look at the presentation and listen. So I know posted today in the Arbonne training is a link to loads of different Discover Arbonnes. Listen to, one a day. You can have it just playing as you're doing something else to help you get into what you're going to say yourself, and just you'll take bits from everyone's and then add some bits yourself. So so homework for this week is to do that opening slide, so your 60-second story about you, to get people engaged. I hope that's been useful for everyone.
Incredibly useful. Thank you so much, Tracy. And it's always good to redo your Discover Arbonne every now and again. So I always try and do mine every couple of months just to refresh it, rejig it. So that's been great for me as well, because I just think, you've got to just keep everything up to date. So thank you for that, Tracy. Right, so next up we have got Emma Lee, who's going to talk about label reading. So have we got Emma there?
Hello, I'm here.
Let me spotlight you for everybody. And it's over to you, Emma.
Hi, guys. I hope you are all well. Great training so far. Thank you, everybody. So my training, as I'm sure many of you know, I am a beauty therapist by trade. I've had nearly 35 years in the industry, and I wanted to share with you a little bit about label reading, products, skincare, because the industry is massive. And this has kind of stemmed from a little bit of accidental market research that I did. And I've got homework as well for you. And that is to do a little bit of this for yourself when you get a chance, when you're out and about. So when you're in Boots, Superdrug, Tesco, Sainsbury's, wherever, have a look at the skincare aisle and the products, even the body products, and just have a little look at the labels and see what they say and see what the marketing is. Because we don't compare Arbonne products to any other products, because we know how good our products are. But our clients are going to look around. Yeah, and it's important that we understand what our clients are seeing in the marketplace, and we need to understand that to be able to explain why our products are different. Yes, we know about the vegan. Yes, we know about the 2,000 ingredients not allowed and everything else, but it's the marketing that it's not that it's untrue, but it's very clever and it can be quite misleading. So this is what I want you to start thinking about and understanding. Quality and quantity of ingredients are the two big things. Now, I'm going to give you an example. I'm going to tell you my aromatherapy story. Some of you may know this, and it's a little bit off cuff because we haven't really got many aromatherapy products anymore, but they might come back in. But go with me because the principle is that works the same. So if you've ever shopped for aromatherapy oils, you will find that there are some really cheapy ones, which are just called aromatherapy. And to be honest, they're probably more fragrance than anything else. Then you've got the middle of the road kind of thing you might get in Holland and Barrett, pure essential oils, nice price point. And then you've got the high end, something like doTERRA or Neal's Yard organic, a lot more expensive. They're all essential oils, but like with all products, you've got the basic, the mid-range and the premium. Now, what's the difference between all of them? So when you've got the premium product, it's going to be a lot more potent and it's going to be a lot more beneficial to you. Nothing wrong with the middle of the road stuff, but it's not going to be as good as the potent stuff. Now, with essential oils, the way that it works is the farmer will grow his lavender crop, for example, send it off to the essential oil company. They will extract the oil. And what will happen is they will send that lavender crop onto another company who will do another extraction. It will be sent on again to another company to do another extraction. Okay, so if you imagine, this is what we call the tea bag effect. If you've got one tea bag and 10 cups of hot water and you're dunking your tea bag in that first cup, you're going to have a lovely cup of tea. You keep dunking all the way down to number 10. So your first cup is going to be a beautiful cup of tea. Cup number 10 is not going to be good, is it? It's still the same ingredients. It's still the same tea bag, but there's a massive difference between number 1 and number 10. Now, you can go into a shop. Now, we still have some of our Rescue and Renew products, which have got essential oils in, and they're premium. So they are high end. You can go into a supermarket or a budget chemist on the high street, and you can see aromatherapy product, lavender, body lotion, calming, soothing, relaxing. You can have a smell. Oh, lovely. It smells like lavender. Really nice. $1.99 as opposed to £40 for something that's high end. Now, when you look at the ingredients to that product, yes, it has got lavender essential oil in, but the lavender essential oil is all the way down at the bottom of the ingredient list. And you could have a 0.01% lavender essential oil in there. So the marketing isn't lying to you because it contains lavender essential oil, but it is nowhere near where that premium product is. So just to give you an understanding, you're looking at the quality and the quantity, plus the fact you've got lavender fragrance in there, which is what makes it smell like. I knew this was going to happen. What? Oh my goodness, she wants a cuddle. If it's not the cats, it's the kids. Mwah. Right, go. Oh. So just understanding about the quality and the quantity of the ingredients in the products. Now, you've got buzzwords around skincare and it's everywhere at the moment. Retinol, hyaluronic acid, vitamin C. There's none left.
Yes, there is.
Go on then. All of these things have what you like. They know, don't they? It's a weakness. You've got these buzzwords. So you're talking to your client about vitamin C and you're telling them how amazing it is, which it is. They're going to go, then they can go into Boots and they can find a vitamin C product and think, well, this has got vitamin C in, and it's a quarter of the price as what they were selling me at Arbonne. So where is the price point? So I've got a couple of slides to show you because I want you to have a look at some of the marketing and some of the things that what our clients are going to be looking at and what it actually means. So we all know this range. There's none in there.
There is.
Oh my God.
I see it.
Look, there's the ink box. Oh. So, we all know this range. Olay, retinol 24. What does that mean to you? What does that actually mean? Does anybody know, if you do in the chat, let me know what percentage of retinol you can get in products. What is the kind of average or the range of retinol that you would be able to have in a product? Let me know in the chat, even if you're just having a guess. So yeah, we've got some good ideas. But yeah. So this is retinol 24. Does that mean it's a 24% retinol? Does that mean it's going to last 24 hours? Now, when you get a retinol will start from 0.0002%. That's where you'd start with sensitive skin, and you'll build up to like a 0.5 or to a 1 or a strong product, which is a 2. You cannot get a 3% retinol without a prescription. Now, most people don't even know this. So you look at this 24 retinol plus 40%. What does that mean? But you see, our clients aren't going to know this. So they're looking at this. And I was even looking at this and I'm thinking, well, what exactly is the message on these bottles? What is it telling the consumer? Now, 24, so we can probably figure that out. That's 24-hour hydration. But then everybody's skin's different. So how can one product hydrate any skin for 24 hours? Now, is that a bit of a buzz off of the deodorant keeps you dry for 48 hours? Now, if you want to buy a deodorant to keep you not stinky for 48 hours, I think you need to be showering more often than getting a deodorant that keeps you dry for 48 hours. But it's all marketing and it's all buzzwords and it's all very, very clever. Now, there's not really much else that tells you on there. What was the next slide, please, Danny? Are you doing, or am I, oh, hang on, no. So this was another one. So these are all ingredients that we know that are in our products as well. So we've got vitamin C, we've got collagen, we've got peptides, we've got hyaluronic acid. So, you know, this is our Derm Results range, isn't it? We've got all of these ingredients. Why is ours better? Well, we go back to the quality and the quantity. Now, it doesn't tell you how much is in there. We all know as well about vitamin C and it needing to be stabilized. Unless it says stabilized vitamin C on the bottle, it is not stabilized. Now, that means as soon as they start using it, that product is going to start deteriorating and it is not going to be effective. It's going to be great for a couple of weeks, but it's going to get lower and lower and lower. Now, if a company like Arbonne, ours is stabilized, we're shouting about it. It's on the bottle. It's in your face. If it doesn't shout it, it is not saying it. The best product I found said our most stable vitamin C. So what does our most stable mean? Is it stabilized? Is it not? We've had a go at stabilizing it, and this is the best we've done. So this is what we're giving you. But it doesn't mean anything. But it's marketing and it's what we're being told. And we've got the people on the television flicking our hair, it's worth it. And look at my skin with all my makeup and filters and everything else. So it's understanding all of this kind of stuff as well. So what was the next slide? I can't remember now. So yeah, this was another vitamin C. We've got 20% vitamin C in our Derm Results Essence. The highest one I found on the market was this one, which is a 12%. Now we've also got our 15%, which, as we know, has been launched for the people that couldn't cope with the 20% because it was too intense for their skin. So vitamin C is not just vitamin C. It's how much is in there, which is why this one is £31. And with the 50% markup from Boots, that's already, that was bought into the shop at £15 average. And we know from the retail structure all of the other things that product is paid for as well. So, you know, this is what is out there, and this is what your clients are looking at. So you can tell them till you're blue in the face how amazing vitamin C is, and they can go and buy that. And they think that they're getting a great product, but they're not. So what was the next slide? Please. So yeah, I was trying to find more information on these bottles, but I tell you what else is very clever. How tiny is that writing? Now, most people who are to the certain age where you are really looking at slowing down the aging process, anti-aging products, you may well be needing some of these. Now, you may just need some of these for reading. And guess what? When you're going around the supermarket, you've probably not got them. Do you know why I had to take a picture of that? Because I had to take a picture on my phone and zoom in so I could read it. Who else has done that before? But the small print is so small that you can't get the other information. So all that's happening is you're bombarded with the buzz stuff, with the stuff on the front of the packaging that looks great and sounds great, and it's pulling you in. So we need to understand that this is what our clients are looking at, and we know compare our products to others, but they will be. And you need to understand what they are looking at, thinking, well, that's got hyaluronic acid, that's got peptides in, that's got vitamin C in. Well, I can just get that. And yeah, we've got a load of other chemicals as well. But I tell you what's getting harder now, because the way the industry is going and a lot of companies are jumping on the bandwagon, and you will see on a lot of bottles, no parabens, no phthalates, no SLS. They are getting better, which is a good thing. But again, oh, well, they said that not to use these ingredients. This one hasn't got that in either. So it's still about that education, and it's about that understanding, and it's about those labels. And it's the same with the certifications. So you can see vegan or vegan friendly on a product. That's very different to vegan certified. Because just because something's vegan friendly and maybe that end product is vegan, it doesn't necessarily mean that all of the ingredients have gone through a vegan process. There might be something in there further down the line, just like the not tested on animals. I remember a long time ago, I think it was Body Shop, they came out with this big campaign saying against animal testing. Well, what does that mean? We can be against all sorts, but still do it. That doesn't mean you don't do it. If it says not tested on animals, that product has not been tested on animals. Doesn't necessarily mean the ingredients haven't been tested on animals. But vegan certified, PETA approved, these are all really important certifications, and they have got bones to them. So it's making sure that we're aware of this, and it's educating our clients about the labels. So my homework is to go into Boots, to Superdrug, wherever you like, and just have a look and see what's out there, because it is getting more and more impressive with the stuff that they're putting on the bottles. And it's really important that you know and you understand the difference, because our clients are going to be looking at that as well. So, any questions? I've not even done bad for time.
No, Emma, that was absolutely brilliant. That is just such good information, and I feel like if we could all just take you to our one-to-ones and you could summarize that would be really great. Thank you.
Well, when they start doing cloning, then that'd be amazing, wouldn't it?
Perfect. Yeah, thank you so much for that, Emma. That was fantastic.
Thanks, guys.
We have got our final speaker of the night. We've got Lisa Woodcock, who I just want to add in there that when Arbonne Corporate do their Arbonne live Zooms every month and they do the top 10, Lisa was number 1 last month. When I was in Dubai, I about fell off my chair. I was like, Lisa, you're number 1 in the whole of the UK. So she's going to come on and share her story. So over to you, Lisa.
Hi everyone, thank you. Am I off mute? Yeah, I am. Um, and typically enough, Danny, I'm waiting for another delivery, so you know the dogs are going to go mad any second. It's just going to happen. So it's not cats or children, it's dogs. So Danny asked me if I would speak about my why and what made me press that button on joining Arbonne. And so really what I'm about to speak about is definitely a deep dive into that. And I just want to say ahead, if this is too upsetting for anybody or if it's a bit raw, then I completely understand if you drop off at any point. And it's not really about Arbonne, but it ultimately is, because it is what made me press that button. So if you don't mind, Danny, if you could pop up the first slide. Thank you. So this first picture, just want to talk about this guy here that you can see. He's called Georgie. And 3 years ago, what day are we on? The 14th. 3 years ago, 4 days ago, if you like, if you understand what I'm trying to say there, he was knocked off his push bike by a drunk and drug driver who still to this day hasn't been taken through the courts or anything like that. So Georgie ended up in hospital in Southampton for a couple of weeks on a ventilator. He was in a neuro ward, and unfortunately his family were told that he wasn't going to make it, that he was brain dead, and there was nothing more that they could do to help him. 3 weeks before that incident took place, Georgie's mum, Sue, was reading a newspaper, and there was a message in there about organ donation. And she asked Georgie, "What do you think to this?" And his response, I have been informed by Sue, was, "You can't do anything with them when you're dead, Mum." So that was their conversation. That's all they had, the only conversation that they had. And that was 3 weeks prior to that accident. So 2 weeks after his incident, what we call a SNUD nurse, so a specialist nurse of organ donation, went to Sue and Mike at Georgie's bedside and spoke to them about the possibilities of organ donation. And Sue at that point knew exactly what their conversation was and exactly what Georgie would have wanted. They also had confirmation that Georgie had signed an organ donation register. So not only did Sue have that conversation, he had also signed something, and it was on his driver's license. So they knew from that point. If we could just pop onto the next slide, please, Danny. Thank you. So whilst all this was going on, I was 4 months into my wait for a liver. So I have an autoimmune disease called PBC, which is primary biliary cholangitis. My mum has the same disease, although they say it's not genetic, but we just don't think enough money's gone into the science behind it yet. And I was on a waiting list. I had a bag packed at the door, and I was waiting for somebody to save my life. I do want to clarify that by saying I wasn't waiting for somebody to die. I was just waiting for when somebody was going to pass away in the most saddest of circumstances with their family, that they had had that conversation with their family prior to me receiving that phone call. So I received a call whilst I was waiting in A&E in London because I had some new symptoms, and when you have new symptoms, you have to go in. I've been waiting on the list for about 4 months. I've been poorly for about 3 years, and they told me there was a liver. This was during COVID. So I was sat on a chair, I had two screens either side of me, a lot of other poorly people in London at UCL. And they said, "Lisa, we think we've got a match, but we need you to stay where you are because we don't know we've got a bed." COVID times. So my husband, Justin, as you can see in the picture, he was stood outside. He wasn't allowed in the hospital at that point. And I went to the security and I said, "Can I need to speak to my husband? Can I quickly pop out and come back in?" And they said, "No, I'm afraid you can't do that. If you go out, you're going to lose your spot. So you're going to have to stay in." So I went and sat back down and I phoned Justin. He was across the road, and I just said, "Kings have called. They've got a match. They don't know if they've got a bed, but we've got a match." So I then spent the next half an hour ringing all my family, just saying there's a potential match, and just preparing them, because I knew that if I got the next phone call to say we've got a bed, then I wouldn't have time to call them. So I eventually got another phone call, and off I went to the hospital. We had a long wait overnight, and eventually the surgeons walked in with some yellow paper, which I had to sign to say that we had a liver and we were going ahead. So this was a really difficult time because, one, I'm thinking my life's about to be saved. I knew I didn't have much time left. I'd been told I didn't have much time left. But I also knew there was a family somewhere who were going through the hardest, most possible moments. And whilst they were going through that grief, they'd made the biggest decision of their life to go out and save others. On that day, Georgie saved 8 other lives, including mine. And to this day, I'm the only one who's got in touch with Georgie's mum. I'm sure the others will, if they can, when they can. And I hope they do, because I think it really does bring it brings something to the families. It makes me emotional now thinking about it when I received my response letter from Sue. If we just click on one, please, Danny, thank you. So I then spent the next 2 weeks recovering in hospital from my liver transplant. And we thought the future looked great. We thought everything was going to be fine. We knew that transplant wasn't a cure, especially not for somebody with an autoimmune disease. But we thought it was going to at least, slow down the symptoms to a stop, and I would have a good long life ahead of me. We move on one more. Thank you. So this was me just before my transplant and just after. And the surgeon came in and see me, and he said, actually, when we opened you up, everything was a lot worse than what we expected. And if you hadn't had that call at that time and you hadn't accepted that liver and we hadn't said it was viable, you probably wouldn't have been with us within 7 days. So that was quite a hard-hitting moment when I was at that point trying to find a way of getting the liver team to give the liver to a friend of mine who'd been waiting for longer. And you go through all these different emotions, and you have that, can't remember what the syndrome's called, but you have that moment where you think, why have I been picked to survive? Why hasn't the person who's about to save lives survived? Why isn't this other person being called in ahead of me who's been waiting for a year? So you go through all of these different emotions. I carried on through my recovery. I had about a year where everything was looking really great. That's it, survivor's guilt. Thank you. Everything was looking really great. My liver numbers were coming down. They were doing really well. The liver was really settled in. I was in contact with Georgie's family, and it just looked like life was going to go back to something. COVID had ended to an extent. And, I went back to work, all these wonderful things, which I never thought I would do again. And then my numbers all started declining again. And my disease that had been put to sleep with the transplant had woken back up. Because it's an autoimmune disease, when you have a transplant, they take away what was a healthy organ, which was attacked by your immune system. And that's what happened with me. So when that organ is removed, actually, your immune system's still there, and it still goes back and it repeats the same process. And that's what's happened for me. It hasn't stayed dormant, unfortunately. And then I found out that my immune system had gone for a double attack, and I'm now in what we call active rejection. So there's a cellular rejection, which can be fixed by medication. And there's another rejection, which is called antibody-specific rejection, or donor-specific antibody rejection. So my body's figured out that this organ is foreign to me, and it's trying to attack it again. So my last clinic that I had in London, my consultant turned around to me, and the unspoken truth came out, and he said, we're not going to be able to get you to a good age with the liver that you have. We've probably got another 2 to 5 years, and then we're going to have to go again. So the first thought I had at this point was, okay, all right, I've done it once, I can do it again. But then that also means, why do I deserve to be saved again by a donor? So we don't have last year's figures, but the year before, 660,000 people in the UK died. Just under 3,000 of those would have been viable for organ donation. So 660,000 people have died. Just under 3,000 of those are viable for organ donation. Another 1,000 of those, their families refused the organ donation because they hadn't had the conversations. They didn't know what their loved ones want. And I understand that too. I absolutely understand that too. When you then take that down to 2,000 people are now viable for organ donation, and the families have agreed, they then have to go through vigorous tests on organs. And sorry to talk so frankly about this. And that then reduced the numbers even further to just 1,400 people were viable organ donors with families' consent. At any one time in the UK, over 7,000 people are waiting on the organ donor list. What one of the things I wanted to come on and really take this opportunity from Danny to say is my why is because I know I'm not going to live to 65, and that's when my corporate pension pays out. And I want to enjoy retirement just like everybody else, but I want to do it. I have to do it a bit earlier. And I wasn't going to be able to do that. And I've got a great job and I'm very grateful for it. And, it pays well and my pension's good, but I can't access that pension until a date where I'm not likely to be here. So for me, my why, and the reason why I pressed that button whilst Danny was locked in a breastfeeding pod in Vegas airport, was because I knew this was possible for me because I've been watching her for so long that I could go and bring that retirement age forward. And if I do get lucky enough to get another transplant at some point, I could then potentially reach a retirement age of some sort that I would have brought forward. But more than that, more than any of that, if one of you today goes and rethinks your why, that's amazing. If you just remind yourself of your why, that's huge. And it should give you that fire in your belly as to why you press that button to become a consultant with Arbonne. But on top of that, if you were to go to organdonation.nhs.uk and sign up as an organ donor, and if you've done that already, then I love you deeply. But I'd also like you to have a conversation with your family. It doesn't have to be, you can just tell them that you've just seen something on one of your training calls this evening and you just want to confirm you want to be an organ donor. Now, a lot of people would normally come back to this and they would say, but it's an opt-out system. It is an opt-out system. You're absolutely right. But that still doesn't confirm to our loved ones what our choices would be if the worst to happen. One of the other really horrible conversations to have is about children. And there are more and more children now waiting for organs. And the circumstances which happen regularly and which are absolutely horrific, and we would hate to think about it, are car crashes, things like that, where parents have passed away. Other family members wouldn't know what the choices would be. Children have also passed away, sadly. But there are also children that are waiting. And so it's not just about you confirming your wishes, but it is about you and your whole family sitting down and having that conversation. If that is something any of you could do, then me speaking emotionally in front of all of you makes it all worthwhile. And I know you will go on to save lives. And I know there are people on this call who have already been touched by organ donation in many different ways. And I think you're absolute heroes. So thank you for listening to me. Thank you for potentially registering to be organ donors, and thank you for speaking to your families.
Oh my gosh. Tracy's like a mess. And she's like, what am I going to do when I go home? And Neil's like, her husband's like looking at me. I was like, have you told him that you want to donate your organ? She's like, yeah. I was like, right, okay. It's just, oh my gosh, it's such a powerful thing to say because for many of us, this isn't in our world for a lot of us. So to be faced with the fact that, yes, you need to have that conversation. And a couple of years ago, Lisa, when I made friends with you online, me and my husband had already said years ago, it's on our driving license, donate. But I do think it's good to actually have that conversation when, yes, years and years ago, you might have said it, but then to re-say it. And when I first met you online, Lisa, I did say to my husband at the time, I was like, yeah, organ donation still the same. Yep, same. And as horrible as what it is, we did have the conversation about our children as well, and that's an awful thing to say. But
yeah, it really is.
to be able to make sure that you can help somebody else. That's obviously a massive silver lining in an awful situation. So yeah, that I'm so glad that you had this opportunity to share something so important. So I definitely would encourage everybody to have a conversation with the people that need to know about your wishes, if those are your wishes, so that they're aware, and there's definitely no doubt about that. So Lisa, thank you so much. And
Thank you, Danny.
I'm so proud of you. And Tracy literally just said, she was like, Lisa's well, do you want to say?
Well, I was just like, it just goes to show if your why is strong enough, this is why you are absolutely storming this business. And I just sat here to Danny as well, and I'm like, I'm putting all my business through Lisa's because I want you to just have that absolute life that you deserve.
Oh, thank you. Thank you. Thanks for the opportunity to speak about it. I probably waffled a bit there because I go off on different tangents, but it's so close to my heart. I can't keep to a script on that kind of stuff.
Gosh,
So
no, absolutely. And yeah, and Tracy's right. If your why is strong enough, people say no, it's nothing compared to like what actually goes on with people behind closed doors. So thank you so much for that, Lisa. Oh, right. that concludes tonight's call. I hope you've all enjoyed those 4 trainings. So there is another call at 9 o'clock with Hetty Gifford, who's doing a skill set training. Otherwise, have an amazing week, everybody. And I've loved spending tonight with you all. Lots of love. Bye-bye.